You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 231 of East Central's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrill. Today I'm joined by a full cast of co-hosts. Got Jesse Riddle, who I've spent the last over 2 hours with, so he's already tired of my ass. I got Zach Burcham, our video producer, our executive producer, our audio engineer, and co-host today.
I'm going to defend myself for a moment. I was being attacked before we went live on the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, you want to know, the laptop that they've given me is so slow that when I watch the video on it, it shows the video in 144 pixels. Literally, it's like I'm staring through one of those bathroom opaque windows that you can't see through. That's what I'm watching the video through. That's the quality of the computing that I'm given. And like, look something up. It's like, it took me 7 minutes to get the video to come up, let alone look something else up.
Zach is a little hot right now. Oh, here's the problem. Your cable. Remember when I talked about the one cable that had to be flipped?
Yeah.
We
moved it back though, didn't we?
No, I don't think so.
So what?
I'm going to send him back over there to flip himself. You're not running through the machine.
The pickles are hot.
All right, let's go back to, we'll finish the introductions. Hey, I got my forever co-host, Dakota Davis. I'm going to go help Zach fix this. Dakota, you're in charge.
Today's episode features the four of us. We're going to be talking to you guys about all kinds of things. This is a little bit of an unprogrammed show because it's been a slow news week. We've been doing all kinds of things, not really paying attention to the news. You know,
His voice
it's
is killing.
Thanksgiving. So, this is a train wreck already, but we're going to be talking to you guys about Joe Harvey, the county attorney. Jeremiah, for some reason, wants to talk about travel. We don't know what that is. The draft for Vietnam was 52 years ago. This week, yesterday specifically.
It's very
December
topical news.
The 1st. And then we're going to talk about, I'm going to go ahead and scratch out the apartment that used to be a jail because I don't like that topic very much, Jeremiah. And we have a new wave of COVID-19. We're going to talk about that. We're just probably over it at this point, right, guys? Right, fellas? We used to remember in the early days of this pandemic, and we all stayed home. We did this show over Zoom. We tried to stay safe as possible.
You had a newborn.
And every week we would do a segment of the show that was the COVID-19 update, and we would update on the pandemic.
We can do that now.
And that, what I'm going
just
to say
depressing.
is, like, at this point, I feel like if we kept that up, it would be a little bit like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, but we have a new variant called Omicron. And we have 3 cases now in the U.S.
It's true.
Question is, do we die or not? Like, that's what we got to figure out.
Stay tuned for the end. This show's about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. Hopefully you'll always learn something new. We're going to provoke each other, piss each other off, ruin each other's nights, and burn each other's tongues.
We already burned each other's tongues. I've already pissed Jesse off.
Pickles burned our tongues. We didn't
Jesse's
burn
already
each
made
other's
me
tongues.
mad, saying that my voice sounds different.
Listen to him.
There's nothing different about my
We're
voice.
an unscripted show tonight. What are you doing? I'm like, where is this twang coming from?
We have gone full...
I don't even hear it.
I don't even hear it.
How do you get a twang? How do you get a twang when you didn't even cross the Ohio
I
River?
think he went to Cincinnati, came back talking like he's from
He went to
Texas.
Cincinnati, and he came back former mayor of Cincinnati, Jerry Springer, is what's happened. He's gone full crazy. Full crazy. All right. So, we just did Patreon. 20 minutes of brilliant. There was a fan vote on what we had to eat, and it was pickles.
That's right. We had patreon.com/BossHogLiberty. That's where you can go to listen to that audio. We ate some habanero pickles. They were sweet. They hit you with the sweetness at first. Jesse decided that they were really sweet, so he ate 3 of them before the spiciness really kicked in.
He's giving away the cow
that was
without making him pay
entertaining.
for the milk. Is that what
If you want to hear... God damn, I'm just giving a little teaser there, man.
Dang.
Calm your freaking tits over there.
Dakota's off alcohol this week. He's on coffee. Can anybody tell?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is the caffeine.
It's shake and bake.
Well,
and
you
I
know.
helped.
I know.
It's supposed to be decaf, but I feel like
There's still caffeine.
there's
in
still
it.
a
He's
little bit
drinking
of
coffee at
caffeine.
7:30, and he has to get up in 4
I
hours
might
to start
decaf.
lifting heavy shit to pose for Instagram.
What'd you say, Jesse?
You guys don't pay for that? I pay for his Patreon for that.
Oh, you're in his OnlyFans?
Patreon.
Topless flexes.
The Patreon's pretty secret.
Hey, man. We finally got to the point. We finally got to the point where Dakota's starting to do the shirtless selfies on
Pretty
Instagram.
exclusive.
I'm proud of him
content
personally.
only.
He's in bulking season. I read that this week.
Those are
Is that a hashtag?
He's hashtag bulking season.
I don't think I
Hashtag
hashtag.
photograph yourself from
I
down
need to
low.
do better at hashtags. Like I feel like I already have a podcast and I'm already posting this stuff. Like I post my full routine in case anyone wants to emulate that in their own lives. And I feel like that could be that's like pretty good influencer material. So I feel like I'm doing a bad job at marketing myself because at this point I feel like
Dakota
could
sells
be-
the soaps and he sells the
I'm paying for all
the
these
mixes,
supplements.
the supplements, the
But I
vitamins.
see these dudes that they don't even look as good as me on Instagram, and they've already
you have to
got
sign
promo
up. You need to
codes
sign up for the
stuff.
affiliate. We just got to sign up for the affiliate programs for these
I don't
things.
see a post about the soap.
I don't
Also,
even post about the soap.
why do you sound like
Duke
Matthew
Cannon took away
McConaughey?
the brand ambassador program, and they said they're going to be coming out with a new type of
We are off
doing
the
Wolf of
rails.
Wall Street.
yeah, that's why because you sound like Matthew McConaughey. You're like, I got the soap and whatever.
No,
Like, I don't
Duke
even know how
Cannon
he
stopped
talks.
with their brand ambassador program, but they said they're going to be coming out with a new one. I'll let you guys know whenever I'm signed up
You
for
can
the
start
new one.
pimping it on this show.
But it hasn't. They haven't
He had
sent
before.
out the email. With
We will all wear the bodysuits that make us look buff and help
Bro, I made like
promote it.
3 sales.
Special thanks to Christy Avery, Jonathan Phillips, Anthony Meyer for your support of the Patreon. You can join at any level, but $50 or more a month, you get put right there at the top of the show. Helps us cover the studio expenses. It's cold season.
It's very
It's-
cold
it's
in here.
chilly
The fan
season.
is on.
It's going the opposite direction.
I don't feel like that.
I'm burning up. I wore a t-shirt and a long sleeve
I made
shirt
that
because
up.
it's January and then it's 60 degrees outside.
It's colder in here than it is outside.
You ever feel like
It definitely was.
Like people would just make that up, the thing with like, oh, you turn the fan the opposite direction, it brings the hot air down. Because it's always like,
That's the shit the
To me,
electric
it-
company
it
will tell
feels
you
like-
just to sell you more electricity.
My always thought of that is ultimately
You want
then okay, if the fan's downdrafting, it's going to blow the air down, and it's going to hit the floor, go up the walls, and
it does
do
the
that.
same thing either way.
if you flip it the other way, it just.
I don't get it.
I think it's just mixing.
it mixing
I've always
airs.
just figured that it depends on where you are in relation to the fan. So if you're sitting under the fan in the wintertime, maybe have it downdrafting because it'll be warmer air. But if you're not, then
Hot air weighs more than cool air.
I wonder how many people
No,
injure
wrong.
themselves.
Incorrect.
It's like my fans never stop. So I'm like up there trying to flip the little switch, but with the fan still spinning.
Why don't they stop?
I just don't turn them off.
He lives dangerously. He's like, all right.
He's like doing a
He's-
long reach.
He's
He's
going.
like,
He's also the guy that's like, I'm not stopping this car. I'm putting it in reverse at 60 miles an hour. It'll be fine.
He's doing that long reach, and then you hear that sound that's been going around on TikTok.
Yeah, I just
Jesse doesn't do TikTok. He
I just do Instagram reels.
he
the only
explains
TikTok
to me.
I see is what Jeremiah sends me, and half the time it just takes me to the TikTok app, and I'm like, I don't. See
It doesn't launch right for you.
No, sometimes
Nah,
it
half the
doesn't.
time it doesn't.
And then today you sent me one. And it was a poorly edited video because it was interesting.
That's
to
how
see.
they all are.
But it ends
At the
a
moment
half
of
a second
excitement.
before I
ends
need
at
it
the
to end.
climax.
That's how all the TikTok video are. It's like
Like for part 2.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
You know, I had TikTok on my phone for a little while, and then my McAfee antivirus that I have on my phone, it flagged it as an insecure
Because
app.
Trump paid
And I
him
was
to do
like-
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say before McAfee got offed by somebody, which is a joke because he wasn't a part of that company for the last 25
Correct.
years. I know that libertarians, you can stop emailing me. I know, I get it. I'm very
Jesse
aware.
was about to be upset. With me.
It's comedy. Look it up. Anyway,
Look it up. Why are you yelling?
Did Trump really pay him to do that?
I don't know, but remember Trump was the one that was
Trump
trying
was all about
Oh, yeah.
making.
He was
it
trying to make
protesting.
I
TikTok.
thought you were.
He was going to get them
real.
thrown out because they were owned by the Chinese.
Yeah.
Yada 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 yada. That's so 2020. So there's t-shirts and merch and stuff. The link is in the links in the bio, guys. Facebook merch or Facebook. The link tree is been posted by Zachary. Let's get into the news. Are you ready?
I guess.
We've been gone for 2 weeks.
Did you keep track of the 2 things that I struck out of the show notes?
Yeah, but we're talking.
I would talk
anyway.
about them anyways.
Yeah, we voted. We voted. We're gonna blow by him. I know the one thing you want to scratch. What was the other thing you want to scratch?
I'm not blowing Biden, bro.
Blow by blow right on by.
Pandemic record travel.
We're gonna blow Biden.
Whatever. That was the whole. That's literally what Zach put in the notes.
Here's the deal. I don't understand why pandemic record travel is in a separate section than the pandemic talk. Why is it a separate bullet? Why are we going to talk about the pandemic travel, and then we're going to talk about something different, and then we're going to circle back around to the pandemic?
If you made the show notes at lunch like you normally would, you could have some influence over this.
No,
but
you're too busy drinking decaf.
You didn't do it. You were drinking coffee all day. So here we go.
So we just need to change this from a draft and move the draft down 1 or 2 points, or move it up a point, and we're good.
This has turned into a full Libertarian Party meeting. We're arguing over the agenda.
UTC. All the time. The time should be in UTC.
I'm going to kill him. All right. So we got a new county attorney. Snip, snap, snip, snap. Joel Harvey is back, everybody.
This is hilarious.
That is funny because that was the funniest part of this whole thing was like they fired this guy. He had to talk about himself in third person. And then they got fired. And then they all had the fiasco.
And then they hired a
back.
meth dealer.
And they're like, well, Newcastle's only got 2 attorneys willing to do the job. So
there were 4 that were interviewed.
Back, Joel.
There were 4 that were interviewed. The Courier Times reported that there were 3 people interviewed. The Middletown News reported that were 4 that interviewed for the job. But Joel Harvey was successful. He stepped up when attorney, former prosecutor Shields was unavailable, and he filled in, and they went ahead and retained Joel's services again. So
can you
back.
apply for attorney jobs without being passing the bar?
I don't know.
Like how far into the interview process could I get?
Hey,
Jesse's like, hey, at least I don't deal meth.
Hey, Jesse, they hired a meth dealer. I don't think that they do much checking around.
This is true.
Allegedly.
It probably depends on the government body, and there's a couple you can probably get the job.
I feel like at Newcastle, I could get pretty high up the chain before they go, I don't think this guy knows what he's saying.
We need to address our counsel. What do you think on that, Mr. Counsel?
Just don't do it.
You're like, sounds good.
Sounds dangerous.
I mean, I've watched them.
Jesse throws around Newcastle versus Henry County a lot, and I feel like as a guy from Knightstown, that's just flaming everybody.
Yeah, because I've seen Joel's the city attorney. And I marvel at just what random questions he gets asked, and he's just like, he knows the answer. I'm like, man, good for him, because I know that's not like his day job. It's just knowing the random questions that are going to get asked.
And he's not even on meth.
No. I mean,
imagine if we gave him meth.
How much
not that we have any, but we might know someone who does.
How much faster he might be able to answer. Yeah, for sure. But that's definitely good.
I know what it is.
You don't have to buzz in, Jesse.
You do in Henry County.
He starts answering questions like he's on Jeopardy in the form of a question.
So they rehired Joel Harvey. According to the Courier Times, Commissioners Dellinger and Commissioner Tarantino sat in on the hiring process.
Quentin?
Yes, sure. According to the Eldon Pitts article in the Middletown paper, I think Bobby Plummer was in. She was in for 5 minutes of one of the interviews and then had to go. So that's why it was a 2-0 vote. Commissioner Plummer did not vote in the attorney hiring process. But here we are. We're back, and Joel's back at it. So he was gone for 11 months, and we're back to it. So I put the next segment in here. I put in because I suffered through driving to Atlanta, Georgia.
Can we at least move Omicron up? I don't want to circle back and talk about the pandemic twice.
We're really not talking about the pandemic twice. You didn't read the notes. Basically, you're getting hung up on the fact that the one thing that I talked about in the show notes, by the way, if you're a patron, you get the show notes and you get to see what the hell Dakota's complaining about. I posted a link to a CNBC story that was talking about the Thanksgiving surge, but it also had a secondary. Dakota is just walking away at this point. He's angry and he's protesting, and it's
pulled his jeans down around his boot. He's
got to go take
down around his boots.
I think he has to go take some more protein powder to be okay. I think the camera's washed out and he's upset. I think that's really
just take his show notes and mark out pandemic on record travel, and then it's all good.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Well, it's a qualifier, right? Because it's really not a record travel day. It's a record travel day inside of the pandemic. So in the recovery, it was what they're saying is that the levels are as high as they've been since all this shit started.
That's what happens when you don't tell people they have to stay at home.
Right.
Well, then people didn't get to do any of their a lot of people didn't do any holidays.
Except Calvin Newsom. That guy got to hang out with everybody. What's that his name?
Gavin Newsom.
Gavin,
the governor of California.
Where he's like, everybody stay home. And then he was like at the dinner party. And
yeah, he's out doing what he wants to do. Different classes of people.
They got the first Omicron positive case for that.
Yeah.
Behavior.
So busy roads. I got to see, I had about a 9 hour, it took me 9 hours to go to Atlanta. It took me 10 and a half to get home. The only difference in that was that I brought my wife on the way home. We put her on a plane and Sarah flew down on the way there. And then it took us an hour and a half longer when she was in the car. We made a lot more extra stops.
Sure.
On the journey home. But it was a lot more enjoyable with her in the car too. 4 years ago today, I got engaged to the lady. It's wonderful. Awesome. I'm told I'm very happy.
Blink 3 times if you're okay.
It's a podcast. They can't see my joy.
Live viewers.
Bill Lowry says, if you're going to do 30 minutes of pandemic coverage, you might as well just become a network news show. We're not even talking.
I agree, Bill.
We're not even talking about the pandemic. We're talking about traffic.
We're trying to.
But everybody's like, we're talking about, no, we're not.
Because
riveting conversation. Jeremiah had to drive.
Listen, it's an adequate news week.
a year and a half ago, traffic was awesome.
Yeah, there was nobody on the road.
You could get anywhere you wanted to go. No delays except for the fact that they started blowing up every state highway in the state of Indiana. And then, yes, even since it was bad today. My drive home today wasn't particularly great.
The point of the story is that I saw cars from Connecticut, from Michigan, from Utah. There was a car from Hawaii, and I have no idea how the hell it got on the road over here. But there was a car with a Hawaii license plate. People were out from all over. It wasn't just like you were driving through with a bunch of locals. It was the roads are full.
This is on the way
clogged.
to Atlanta.
On the way to Atlanta,
the studio.
On the way to the studio, it was just that I couldn't get my normal parking spot because of the street festival / protests that are happening outside.
That'd be great.
All the Ohio drivers were in the left lane, by the way.
Always.
That's just where they spawn there, I think.
They don't believe in the right.
They spawn from Youngstown into Henry County, and they're on the left lane of I-70.
They literally are.
Miles an hour.
That's ridiculous.
I passed 3 or 4 one day coming home from work, and there was nobody around them. I was the only one. I came out of nowhere, moved to the right, passed them. I moved to the left a little sooner than I probably should move to the left. But I'm trying to get like, hey,
you did it exactly how you should have.
And there's not another car in any of the lanes for a half a mile in any direction, and they're just like, whatever. I was just like, I didn't have time. I didn't want to deal with it.
Just done with them. You just drop it down a gear and blow by their asses. Just
I don't
gone.
even have to drop it down a gear. I mean, there weren't even point.
Let's say that's the thing. They're not driving fast.
No,
you don't. Need to
I
drop
didn't
it
have to
down.
turn my cruise off.
Yeah,
you just slowly move. It's
just slide over.
It's just
over.
It's like a very lazy slalom down 70 as you just pass all these people.
See, I get on their rear and I become the guy that nobody likes because I've got a nice car now. And that's what you have to do when you do it. You're like,
you had a nice car before.
I know, but
you don't flash your lights at them, do you?
No,
you're not that guy yet.
No.
So anyway, I dropped Sarah off at the airport on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. The Indianapolis news was like, oh my God, it's going to be super busy. The Indy Star ran a story saying it's going to be the busiest travel day of the year. I dropped Sarah off for a 6:30 flight at 5:15 in the morning. And if you've been through the Indianapolis airport, security was lined up outside of the food court.
Oh,
on both terminals. It was busy. It was packed.
That's God. That's bad.
It was bad. And then every time I went to a truck stop to get fuel on the way down, I had to fight for a gas pump. Like it was truly, it was full. It was a lot. So that's all. I didn't really want to talk about the pandemic. I apologize for using the headline of pandemic record travel because it was whatever. We've plowed this ground. I apologize.
Seeds have been sown.
But one of the few perks of
what other farming analogies can
spider traffic is now over.
Yeah, now
we're back.
Now we just have to suffer through it. Apparently, there's a billboard on I-65 as well for a Buc-ee's, and I visited a Buc-ee's for the very first time. Anthony Meyer, patron, he commented on the show notes and said Buc-ee's is terrible because they don't have any. They're not truck stops.
Correct.
They're basically truck stops for cars, for motorists. The Buc-ee's I went to in Georgia, there's a Love's across the road, and the semis were going over there. The Buc-ee's had probably 100 or 120 fuel pumps.
Oh my God.
Insanity. The bathrooms were wider than any airport bathrooms I've ever seen. Like, it was a massive, massive place. And at least half of those gas pumps were full. It was like a camper's dream, Zach. It was, I would be like, this is the ultimate place to pull in with a camper to get fuel. Cause you know just how bad it is to go into a Love's or Flying J and have to plan. There's like 2 pumps that'll work for your rig and all of that. Any one of them at Buc-ee's is fine.
We go to Mid Ohio, we take up 8 pumps between
exactly.
like 3 or 4
we
of
fill
us.
half of the one place that can accommodate us. So yeah, it was insanity. And it's like a Menards / gas station. So I guess they're working their way up here. Maybe there's a billboard for one up in Lafayette on I-65, and they've built one in Kentucky. So I'm warning people now, raising the flag. Buc-ee's may be coming, and it's massive.
Praise God. Bring them to Spiceland.
Maybe New Lisbon. Maybe New Lisbon will get a Buc-ee's.
Maybe.
With their new exit.
It's got to be. Well, that'd be 103. That'd be the Jerry Walden interchange.
They'd get rid of the Taco Bell. That'd be sad.
I don't know. It's massive.
It's my favorite Taco Bell.
They don't have chili cheese burritos, bro.
Is it really? I was like, I thought you left Newcastle and Connorsville.
No, it's Newcastle. I haven't been to those. I haven't gotten a chili cheese burrito in a while.
Oh, really?
Do you need to talk about it?
No.
Okay.
That used to be your thing, bro.
Still
everything
is.
okay?
It's good, man. You take them home, put them in the refrigerator, and then for breakfast, you kind of put some butter in a pan and roll them around.
We mentioned food.
Brown 'em up.
Jesse's out.
Pretty awesome.
That does sound pretty good. You
It's
put
really
a
good.
fried egg.
All right, let me tell you more about my Buc-ee's experience real quick.
Oh my gosh, this was the other poll that we were supposed to have about gas stations.
Yeah, I know. I raved about the Sinclair. Apparently, I have a thing for gas stations. But you walk in, and at the front door, they're selling grills, smokers. Where else would you go to a gas station where they're selling you not just one smoker? There's like 10 of them. It's like walking into Menards. They're selling
This
you
is wild.
charcoal. They have brisket. They had a whole breakfast bar.
How many husbands have gotten in trouble because they went in to get a pop and they came out with like a $500
Hey, honey,
smoker.
I bought a smoker.
Got
Yeah.
a Traeger.
Yeah, they came out like a Traeger, like it's Bluetooth.
They have merchandise,
It's kind of genius
It is.
to be like.
and it's a beaver. Their logo's a beaver. It's the Buc-ee's beaver.
Was there
Buc-ee's?
a little statue of
right.
the beaver outside? Because I've seen somewhere there's a statue. Of the beaver
I was so amazed by the number of fuel pumps, and I had to pee. That it was alarming. I also went to a Love's on the way down, and I got coffee at like 1:00 in the morning, and they were like, "Yeah, we're out of creamer." I'm like, "You're out of creamer completely?" I go, "We have no creamer." Pandemic, bro, nothing. I'm like, son of a bitch. I was like, "Do you have milk?" I spent $2 on a pint of milk to pour into my coffee, and
You don't like
I was
black
just mad
coffee?
about it.
I don't get it. You couldn't just suffer through some black coffee.
You had to buy a pint of
I
milk.
bought a pint of milk for $2 for whatever. Anyway, Buc-ee's had like 7 different kinds of creamer, sugar-free, regular, whatever the hell you wanted, peppermint, vanilla, hopscotch, butterscotch,
It's just like
Snickers.
Speedway. Speedway has all these.
Yeah, but I'm telling you,
But
this was
Speedway
like,
doesn't have Traeger grills.
Yeah.
they had it all. They had it all. They had
Beaver.
Or a beaver.
and
Or fishing lines.
Speedway doesn't sell Speedway merch and like have
Yes, they do.
57
Yes, they do.
57
How
like,
dare you, sir?
Have you been to a Speedway, sir?
I haven't been inside of a Speedway in quite some time, but I'm pretty sure they don't have a matching Speedway suit with
You're on
with,
your way.
with
The convenience
pants
stores
and
of
jacket.
Speedway.
I bet they
Can
do.
you get Speedway pajamas? Because Buc-ee's has Speedway has
I know.
Buc-ee's
So,
pajamas.
so Mark, who's been on the show,
Yeah.
has, or at least he used to. I don't know if he still has it. He used to have a lapel pin, a little Buc-ee lapel pin that he'd wear when because he went down to Texas.
Yeah.
He was also as amazed about Buc-ee's.
It's insanity, man.
He's like, dude, you don't understand this gas station. I go, I just don't get enthused about gas. I don't get enthused about going to Menards. I don't get enthused about going to gas
It's
stations.
the
if
fact
you
that
mix them
somebody-
together, I'm no longer as
it's the fact that
enthused.
somebody dreamed it up and was like, you know what I'm going to build is this, and it worked.
Well, I mean,
it's insanity.
I mean, that is
makes
something that like
sense,
Indiana's kind of lacking. You go other places and QTs,
QT's in Georgia. Yep.
QT, and like there's some in North Carolina, and they're like, and we used to get Red Barn was probably the closest we ever had. Like we had a Red Barn at 3 and 38, and you could go in there and like order food, and they would cook it for you right then and there. Like, and so it's kind of half fast food restaurant, half, but it was like a bigger menu. And now QT, like we can go to QT's when we travel, and like kids want a pizza, order them some pizza.
That's what
You get it.
Casey's has.
Yeah,
Casey's has the
Casey's
kitchen.
General Store is probably the closest we have to it, but that's like a new thing around here for us.
Yeah.
And you go to other states and like their gas station game is way higher than ours. And I know Buc-ee's one of those things you hear about, like when People go to California, you talk about In-N-Out Burger.
Right.
You go to Texas,
You go to
talk
Texas.
about Buc-ee's.
But it's spread, and I've got a feeling that it's they're in like 9 or 10 states now, and they're in Kentucky, so you know it's coming at some point. It's just a matter of where it
And if
goes.
there's one place they could go in Indiana and they could find the space, 65 north of Indianapolis, they'll find a 40-acre field that they can take over.
Look out, Lebanon! You got a Buc-ee's coming your way.
It sounds like they just like go around. They're like, look for Confederate flags,
Jesus Christ!
and that's where we're going. I mean, that's kind of seems like what they're doing. You're like, they're in Georgia, they're in Texas.
Started in the South, buddy.
I
know.
know. I think I heard they're in Florida too, but yeah.
Yeah,
When the flags stop, Bucky stops. All right, that's their motto.
Kentucky was in the Union. It was a Union state.
Doesn't matter. There's still flags out. There's flags here, bro.
Try telling them that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why Jesse is a loose cannon. When we bring him on, I just don't know.
I think it's a good slogan
Zach-
for him if that was what they wanted to do.
And now we're never going to get a Buc-ee's. Because
Zach, last 2 weeks ago,
Left Twitter is
it was the
upset.
dead cat.
yes.
Now it's Confederate flags and Buc-ee's. So anyway, there was a billboard in Lafayette. Does it mean anything? I don't know, but it might happen.
Lafayette's way north, right?
I mean, it's an hour and a half from here, 2 hours from here.
So they're gonna put it all the way up there.
There was a billboard. I don't know.
I know. I'm just saying that's
I
crazy.
mean,
Maybe.
that's a thoroughfare that's just like you get
That makes sense though.
You get
There's
much-
not a lot.
between Lafayette and Chicago.
There's not a lot there.
There's not a lot there.
There's
that
a lot of
makes a lot of
windows.
sense.
There's what Fair Farms or whatever. But
Fair
yeah,
Oaks.
it's Fair Oaks. But as far as like
Purdue University.
gas stations and stuff, yeah.
There's a few.
But once you get north of Lafayette, it gets pretty thin.
So anyway, that's the story. Hey, Dakota, we talked about the draft a little bit. Did you?
Yep.
Are you
Not
up to
football.
speed? Are you going to walk us through this? What would have happened? Did you look up your draft number? 52 years ago this
Yeah,
week.
That's what I'm
It
trying to
depends
get
on the
to.
year, but yeah,
I'm going to be
every
dropping.
year they did it differently.
Yeah, so this is the inaugural draft.
This is
what
the
we
one
were-
in 1969.
the one for the 1970 draft when they were starting it.
This was for. This was not the first draft. Like,
Correct. That first draft happened in 42 or something.
Yeah.
For
Well,
World
but-
War One or whatever.
yeah,
World War
well,
II.
no. But what I'm saying is like they did it this way. The reason that this one's kind of unique is because this is the first time that you had a unique number associated with your birthday. So basically, you were randomly chosen based on the day of your birth. I'm going to share with you guys in our chat the link to find out whether or not you would have been drafted.
That's funny. I was going to
52
build a
years
little
ago.
tool to do this.
I looked it up. So
Let's see.
but it was basically if you
It's
had
in,
draft
you just got it.
draft number 1 through draft number I had looked it up. Oh, here it is. 1 through 195 would have been drafted the first year. My draft number being a July 9th baby, I would have been a number 277 and would not have been drafted. So I had a very high number and would have been fine. Dakota, you were number 305. You had an even higher number.
Yep.
But you're a man of valor, so you would have jumped right in and gone for it. Now Zach,
I would have been 79.
79.
Here's
You
my
You would have
question.
gone quick.
Here's my question though. So I'm a twin. Can I just offer my brother up as the sacrifice of the day?
It's a twofer.
He's younger.
See, my draft number was called
What's your birthday, Jesse?
June 11th.
June 11th. You had a
134.
134. Yeah.
If your birth, it says if my birthday was 2 days earlier, I would not have been called. So if you were born on the 29th of October,
It doesn't matter. I would have dodged this damn thing. I would be like, you guys are stupid. This is the dumbest shit.
Jesse and his bone spurs and religious. Jesse became a devout.
No, I
Quaker.
was. So there were a lot of guys who were committed gay. I was like, dude, I'd straight it make with whatever dude. I'd be like, let's do it.
Hey, you got a low number?
Yeah.
You wanna-
And they're like, I'm like,
You wanna
look,
marry me?
I don't know who you are. Just go brush your teeth. We're not fucking going to Vietnam.
Yeah.
God.
Like, that's all I'm going to do. I'm like, whatever.
That's your way out.
Did you ever hear
Homosexuality. You're 1969.
If you do it in
You're-
front of them, I don't think there's any questioning it.
Did you,
They're like, all right, whatever.
Did you ever hear Dick Cheney talk about why he got draft deferments?
He got draft what?
Deferments. Cheney did?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, so Dick Cheney, I forget what news organization, it might have been 60 Minutes, asked him about why they knew that he had been drafted, but he didn't go, and they asked him why, and he said that he had other priorities at the time.
Yeah, making out with dudes.
So
And I just felt like, yeah, so did every other dude that got drafted. That's why they didn't volunteer.
a lot of times what would happen is that you would have a low number, so you just go ahead and enlist because you get a better job. If they drafted you, then you got
you're private. You're private.
You got lower end. But if you went ahead, you could go in and be an officer or whatever, and you could avoid some worse responsibilities.
A lot of guys joined the Navy because they knew that the Navy wasn't going inland. They weren't going on
the
to
Marines.
the shores.
Yeah, but their boats got attacked.
So they were like, oh, let me just join the Navy. Yeah, but at least the Navy. I mean, what did they?
I just don't know why you would go. There are so many options. You could
go an aircraft carrier, and there's an entire group that's there just to defend you, like an aircraft. If you're on it,
yeah.
I take my chances on it.
So I think I read 200,000 guys. No, we're just leaving. They went to Canada and Sweden. I don't know why they went to Sweden, but they went to Sweden.
Neutral.
The Swedes are neutral, yeah.
Yeah. So
And the Canadians, a lot of people hid in Canada. So the roster still exists. When you turn 18, you have to, I don't know if Jesse did. He probably didn't because he's a protester. But you have to go down to the post office.
I have flat feet, so it doesn't matter.
You would go down to the post office and you register for selective service. And I think that's the only way you can get federal student loans. And there's other programs that are involved
They're tied to
or
that.
student aid that are, the carrot and the stick that force you into
They
it.
took us all down to the school computer lab when we were like seniors in high school,
And made you do it at
made us
school?
do it at school.
Yeah, the post office still has the documents there.
I was going to say, I did
seen them.
it at the Arlington, Indiana post office.
I listened to this guy.
Did you just salute the flag and walk out?
No,
afterwards?
I just walked in and it's like the one person that works there. It's a tiny little rural post office that's open, 7 hours a day, maybe. So I'm like, I need that one form, and filled it out and turned it back in, and it was done in 2 minutes.
There's a guy, and his name is Drago, and he is a Polish refugee. He was an anti-communist in Poland, and
Wasn't he in Die Hard?
he came to his actual name is Thomas Zirian. He left communist Poland in the 80s, and he came to America. And whenever they were talking about the first Gulf War, he had seen everything happen in Vietnam. And that's what made him fall in love with America when he was in Poland. Okay. So he came to America in the 80s, in his mid 30s, and then the first Gulf War pops off. And he thought, this is my chance to go fight for America. So he goes down to the post office and he said, I want to go to war. And
Like, you can just fill out this one form or mail a package here, sir. It's
so
like,
they
Sir,
gave him.
it's going to be about 5 minutes. I got to help out Joanne here.
They gave
book
him.
stamps.
we make passports.
They gave him the selective service documentation. So he fills out the selective service documentation and he gives it back to the post office worker. And he said that he went back to his apartment where he had like 3 other roommates. And he said that he immediately started packing his bags. And they're like, Drago, what are you doing? And he said, I'm going to war for America. And they said, what do you mean you're going to war? Did you sign up? And he's like, yeah, I went to the post office. I signed up. They're like, Drago, that's not how it happens. Anyway, Drago is a complete and total like beast of a man. And like at 36 years old, became a Navy SEAL and was
I know
actually
this
over
guy.
there in Iraq. Like he went through the Gulf War right at the tail end, but then he just full on like stayed in, and he's in Iraq and Afghanistan
The next go around
as a
as
Navy
well.
SEAL. The next go around.
So it's been a
Wow,
voluntary draft since 1973. So it was a 4-year period where the draft numbers mattered. And then after that, but it was a live televised broadcast. I think that was the part we glossed over.
No, yeah, it was. I was going to bring it up.
So they put your number, all of the numbers got put in these little pills, apparently.
Yeah, little
and it
blue
was
pills.
broadcast on national TV. And they just literally, like when Dakota helped out with the drawing of the
pulling
names.
the lottery numbers.
Yeah, pulling the lottery numbers. It was literally, here's number 1 is September 14th. And it was just 366 numbers were drawn.
Because even like
February 29th.
February
You didn't get a
29th.
pass if you were
Yeah.
born on February 29th.
because you're like, damn, you would have been like, I would have thought they would have forgot. But what's really when I
They were
saw that-
285. If you were born that day, you didn't have to go. You got deferred the first year.
Yeah. So I was thinking like I was like, of course they did that, because today they would be putting advertisement all over it. They're like, and welcome to the draft lottery. We got to take a break. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Sponsored by Boeing.
You're just like,
Next one's
Sponsored by
Halliburton.
Lockheed Martin.
and you're like,
Exactly.
these kids are like, everybody's crying and pissed off, and like, just like people are going to go die, but they're like, yep, we got to pay for the advertisers. You know,
It'd be
or
straight
gotta
up
get our
like
advertisers.
Hunger
Here's a
Games.
word
You'd
from
have some-
Coca-Cola.
You'd have some two broadcast announcers, and they'd be like in the most strange outfits that cost them like $1,800, and meanwhile they're sending poor kids off to die.
Tough break for January 5th, everybody, huh? Number 73.
Country music stars are just like got songs on the Coca-Cola commercials.
Garth Brooks would be up there singing during.
When duty calls.
Oh, my God.
You're like,
All right.
turn it off. Turn it off.
Toby
think
Keith is up. Well, put a boot in your ass.
I am officially uncomfortable with the conversation. New Wave.
Music is great.
I said, is this a slow news week, or are we just news fatigued? Booster shots are available for everybody. That was announced. If you got your first one, I'm going to go tomorrow and get mine, because whatever. I'm just going to do it and get it over with, and not get sick. Over Thanksgiving, a new variant came out.
Shockingly.
Yeah, it's a lot
Omicron.
of memes immediately came out. I didn't know how Delta got named. Apparently, we're using the Greek alphabet.
Yeah, it's Greek alphabet.
Everybody started mentioning this.
But
now.
we skipped letters.
Well, I don't know if we skipped letters,
We did Z.
or were
No,
there
we
were there
skipped it.
variants that just didn't
No, we
matter.
skipped. They purposely skipped
They just picked the cool names.
because the next ones were confusing. They thought they would be confusing, which I'm like, well, you're using Greek alphabet, which most people don't even understand. So it's already confusing. But there was the whatever comes after ABCDE. There was like 2 or 3 other ones that were like other words that are also being used a lot right now. So they're like, we don't want to like confuse
We skipped Z, which would be like, which is kind of funny because of Emperor Z.
XIZ. New
In
the
China.
new
it. Yeah,
virus.
so the new virus.
New NU would have confused people, I suppose.
Yeah, they were saying like they're like it's
The MU. So we all talked about, I guess, alpha and beta. Maybe I don't even know if those. We had the first virus,
The first
and
string
then
would have been alpha.
and then we've been talking about Delta for a year, but we skipped over Epsilon, Zeta.
No, we had dues. We had
But
both.
we didn't talk about them. We didn't freak out over
They
them.
weren't big ones. They
Well,
didn't
we don't know if
take
anything's
over.
big. I don't know what the hell do we know about any
They
of
had
this.
Lambda. Lambda was a big concern
Yeah,
because
Lambda.
they
I
thought
remember
that
Lambda popping up for it was not that long.
2 weeks.
they thought that Lambda was totally vaccine resistant. That's why they were concerned about it. And then
Mu, Nu,
nothing
Z,
happened there.
Omicron. Next one is Pi. You can look forward to Pi. Pi.
Pies-
The Pi virus.
You could at least be nice and wait till mid March to come by.
I can't wait until we get.
You've turned yourself down too much, just by the way. I know. You can't. You
I just
can't
wish they
exact-
had. I'm
Well, I
like,
can't hear
I
myself.
wish
I
they just
know.
get cooler people like to announce the viruses when they, because I was like, Omicron sounds like one that's going to do us in.
That's the first ominous sounding
Yeah.
variant.
Yeah.
Like if you, because I've heard that's the thing with hurricanes where they said they need to like stop just giving hurricanes like grandma names because they don't take it seriously.
Yeah, like
Hurricane Charlie.
Yeah, but if you give it like a menacing name, then people get scared and they leave. And so, like, yeah, like, oh, like Omicron, that sounds nasty. Like, I'm like, yeah, I might go down and give them a booster shot for that.
This August, Death Delivers is coming to Florida. You're like, I'm getting the hell out of here. But they're like, Alice is coming to Florida. You're like, I don't really care.
Isn't Florida doing like better than the whole rest of the
So
country?
Jesse posted that this week, saying that Florida. There was a thing from the CDC he posted, and Florida was blue. And you're like, isn't this interesting? And then there was no explanation on your post.
Well, no.
And then you provided the original link, and I tried to click on it, and it was like, I love you, Jesse, but you're like a report builder. And it was a custom report you made. You
No, it was
put
not
a link.
a custom report.
It was a custom report. It was impossible to do, and you didn't leave any instructions. You didn't tell us how to duplicate your results. It was
It's a
just
damn
it was
link.
just
You
it
just
was just
click it.
Jesse being difficult
no,
as usual,
I did not build
and it was impossible to understand what the hell you were talking about.
This is my experience with Jesse so far. Jesse's like, I fixed this for you. And then you walk into it and it's like walking into a trap from Indiana Jones. You have no idea how to get out. You don't know how you got there. You don't know what you're supposed to do.
It's not.
He's
It's
just
better
like,
when you're an idiot if you don't know how to use
he's
it,
like,
Zach.
he's like, it's so simple. I'm like, I'm an idiot then.
Well, that's probably true, but I'm just messing with you. No, there's a it's just the COVID data tracker on the CDC's website.
I know, but then you have to click box. There's like 7 drop down menus to look at this data and that data.
I've tried
and
to look at that at the scene.
I could never replicate whatever the hell made Florida blue. And Al Gore almost did it once, but that's all I know.
The thing that I struggle with that, and I think it's one of those things where can you trust the media kind of thing, or just which sides, is if it sounds like if you listen to anybody and whoever's bragging at the time, it's a neck and neck struggle between California and Florida as to who's doing better, even though they have the opposite
Completely
approach.
different policies.
And so maybe it's just telling you that it's just
none of it matters.
Random luck. And it's because it's the 2 warmest. And maybe it's because they're warm and they're sunny, so people are outside and they're not. Because I know they're worried about up here, it's getting cold and everybody's going to pack into a tight space. But
I'm getting my shot tomorrow. I'm going to feel shitty over the weekend. It is what it is.
I think I'm going to go get mine tomorrow too.
Whatever. 4:00 at the hospital. You can join me. We'll be vaccine buddies.
I couldn't get an appointment made. I was trying to do the health department.
The health department was like booked out for a week and a half. The hospital had I booked it on Sunday. Every appointment was
use
available.
Government to solve your problems. Where are you right now? Why do you think we suggest other alternatives? Yeah, private enterprise.
What are you talking about? You saying he should go to Meyer?
He said he went to the health department.
To their website. I just went to the website.
Just giving him a hard time. I don't know why it's not loading right now, but
it's broken. It's a custom report that you made, and it's impossible.
I shared it. I made it on the desktop.
Impossible. Well, maybe that's a problem. You didn't give instructions to say, hey, you have to use the desktop. You could have made a PDF. You could have made it all easier on us.
I did not test it. You're right. My bad.
That's all I wanted. It was a public apology.
Happens sometimes. You'll get them.
Whatever. So Omicron's around. Whatever. I'm personally fatigued by the whole damn thing. I feel like whatever variant comes our way, at this point you have 2 years of data to know what the hell you're doing. They're pointing at each other like Dakota has solved the riddle and it's working.
The riddle will never be solved.
He's got it figured out.
Stupid.
I just clicked on it.
At this point, no. At this point, yeah. But does it have Florida blue and nobody else, whatever, or not?
No.
I didn't wait around for the map to load.
We're fatigued. New variant. Meh.
Yeah, that's to me. It's meh. Whatever. I didn't even know there were 3 other variants that we had talked about. It's just like I feel like it was a slow news week, and everybody latched on that Omicron's around, and there were 2 cases in South Africa, and the next thing you know, they're shutting down South Africa, and it's oh my god, there's a case in California.
Did you hear how the case in California got here though?
Somebody got on a plane. People
from South Africa and flew to California.
Sure.
Yes.
Did they not check it? I was like, wait a minute.
This is how it got here originally.
By the time it gets on the news, it's already too late.
That was just like...
We got people on planes all the time.
I heard he's vaccinated and he was having mild symptoms and was feeling better. I was like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Whatever. We have 3 cases now. And Germany...
It's impossible to
doing
track.
German stuff. And they're like, look, you if you're not vaccinated, you can't show us your cards, you're going home. You're going to stay indoors. And then they're going to
Australia's had stories about people escaping quarantine for months.
Yeah. CBS just reported that Omicron COVID variant was in Europe before South African scientists detected and flagged it to the rest of the world.
But but Europe gets, whoever reports it first gets hung with it, just like the Spanish flu or whatever the hell it was.
So like we probably have had cases here longer than the ones that have than the 3 that we know about.
All we've learned is that
you can't stop a virus.
You can't stop a virus.
Shocking.
Locking down doesn't work. We slowed the economy down as best we could. Bought some time so you can have a vaccine. Decide if you want to take it or not. Masks kind of work probably, but
we found out that we don't agree on everything. Which I didn't know.
We fight over everything constantly.
We're very split down the middle. They also didn't understand that. It's very strange.
It's split down the middle.
It's a crappy virus. We're dealing with it, but we gotta carry on. Whatever. Just fatigue. That's I'm just like meh. Whatever. It's the news this week, but meh.
I wish there was like a virus that just made you lose weight.
Most of them do.
Well, I mean, that's all it did. Like, there's no fever. You're just
Jesse's like, you know what I could do? I could catch a chronic wasting disease.
I would live for years.
Jesse's like,
I got a lot of runway. I'll be okay for a while.
I'm like, I'll survive till they figure it out.
Jesse's going to start eating all the venison he can eat.
I just got some
to try to catch some of those
yesterday,
prion.
a couple days ago.
Speaking of chronic wasting diseases,
I'm not going to eat. So here, I won't eat my deer meat until the people that gave it to me eat theirs.
Did you know that there was a diet like program in the 80s called AIDS?
Oh my God!
Yeah, AIDS. And they had to do a rebranding.
Boy,
Yeah, it was a diet bread. It was like,
Was that ran by Fauci?
Google or Samsung or somebody had a pay app called ISIS.
yes.
And they had
Samsung did, yeah.
and they had to delete it off the phones because I had a Samsung phone at the time.
It turned into like soft something rather.
Soft pay or something.
I was like, I'll go because they had a really good deal where you could like it was like the tap to like whatever the
tap to pay kind of
yeah.
thing.
I can't. It's NFTs popping out of my brain, but it's not that. But it's whatever the function
Near
is on your
field
phone.
communication, NFCs.
Yeah. And they had a thing like you got $1 back on any transaction you did for a while, and like I would just use it at Coke machines. Because I would buy a Coke for $1.25 and get it $1 back. I was like, I'm gonna get 20-ounce drinks for 25 cents for as long as I can ride this out. But it was not like ISIS was brand new at the time. It was like kind of at this. It wasn't like this program's
The
been around
beheading
for 15
videos already
years.
existed, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that. I was like,
Did we ever figure out if those were real?
Man, I do not have the mental energy to deal with you today.
I'm going to say
don't know.
yes.
I believe I believe that there were reporters that died.
I don't think those people have come back. Like they showed up for the holidays, like a Christmas.
We don't want to
video.
get sued like Alex Jones did.
I'm not
That's the first thing I
was
thought
just,
of.
No, but I was
like,
saying,
no, they're hanging out to Sandy Hook. No,
no, I don't think it's like that. No, and I just remember like the videos being like over the top. You remember like the videos?
It was
were
the
really
shock,
weird.
Yeah, they were trying to be. I think.
Yeah, it was like I was watching a really terrible like movie on
Jesse
Channel
just
8.
thinks it's all a
Dude,
deep fake.
bro, have you ever watched Indian movies? Like those, like those movies that they make in India,
Bollywood
the
stuff,
Bollywood
yeah.
stuff.
The only thing I watched.
That's the only
was,
thing that those guys watch. Like that's what they know as acting.
What the hell was the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show? That was
Regis Philbin.
no, it was the Indian thing. The guy it was the big Indian show that was a movie that was here.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
No.
India.
No, it was a movie about it. Somebody's in the chat. They'll tell me in a second.
If there's anyone in the chat, I feel sorry for him.
It says my wife's in the chat. I'm scared.
The main corporation, the spy corporation in the show,
Slumdog
Archer, was
Millionaire.
called ISIS.
Slumdog Millionaire. Everybody's still looking at me like I'm crazy. It was like a big movie.
I remember that.
Yeah, Slumdog Millionaire was a huge deal. Just blank stares coming from 2008.
Do you not hear that? That's
Yeah,
not
there's
blank-
traffic on the road.
It broke 55 degrees today, guys. So when it breaks 55 degrees, every Harley
Get them hogs out.
has to be out.
Harleys are out. Guys are in their shorts, man. There you go. Christy came in with the Slumdog Millionaire as well. Thank you, Christy.
I've never seen it.
What about
knew
this
you'd have
movie,
it.
Slumdog Millionaire?
It was entirely Indian actors, and it was the genre you're talking about.
No, Slumdog Millionaire is not a Bollywood movie, bro.
It
Wasn't
was
there like mutilation in that?
yeah, it was a rough movie.
Yeah.
The
that's why I haven't seen
the
it.
outhouses were rough.
Yeah,
You
said they're shanties, not outhouses.
Okay. The pits. Anyway,
Oh, shit, that's where people live.
I
bro.
started to say chronic wasting disease, and I was thinking of an Amazon Prime special that I saw about Gordon Lightfoot,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Dakota's hero. And
You call him my hero, but I literally only know the one song.
And he's moving to Muncie.
Is that for real?
Jesse is
buying-
just trying to transition.
He's buying a condo in one of these newly renovated jail.
into the Muncie jail. So no, Amazon Prime has a Gordon Lightfoot special. It's like an hour and a half, and it's a lot of interviews with Gordon Lightfoot. And he looks
Because they couldn't find anybody else to talk about Gordon Lightfoot except
no, it's even better. The Baldwin who just killed somebody he's one of the prominent people talking about Gordon Lightfoot in the special. It's Alec
He
Baldwin.
never fired the gun.
Yeah, allegedly he didn't pull the trigger. He wasn't the gunman. So
How long
anyway,
can you shirk responsibility for
70s and 80s Gordon Lightfoot goes back and forth. The pictures of him, there's like three different versions of Gordon Lightfoot. There's 70s Gordon Lightfoot who looks exactly like Chris Pratt. And then there's 80s Gordon Lightfoot who looks like Bryan Cranston.
Huh.
And then there's current Gordon Lightfoot who looks like a dead guy with a chronic wasting
Because
disease.
you just jumped 40 years,
and
dude.
he's 80 years old. And
he goes
looks like,
80s
right.
today.
Right. 70. Well, that's
What
because
happened?
he was a big deal. Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's old.
God, he looks like shit.
Well, he's probably 70 years old.
He's 80. So he's 80 at the
80
time.
years
Yeah.
old.
Father Time has beat the hell out of you.
But then you
Just
go,
like-
you know what? He's a rock and roller and he's still here to talk about it at 80 years old. So he did okay.
Yeah, I was just laughing because you're like, you have 20s, he looks like this, and the 80s, and now he just looks like crap. You're like, 40 years, Jeremiah. That's like my mom. She goes, we were talking about Anderson today. and we were talking about the Mancore building, and she's like, well, because it's like, it looks like crap because like it's like made of stone, like marble or something, and it like
it's on the south side of Anderson. It's been there for 25 years.
Right. Well, she's like, it's
one of the first tilt-up
she's like,
buildings.
it's a new building. I go, it's not that new. And she's like, well, it's been there for a while. I go, yeah, like 30 years.
I don't think it's been there.
No, I know, but
years.
but
yeah, it's been around
20, almost 25 years.
It's one of the first tilt-ups, I think, that went in the modern, quote unquote, modern
style building.
Industrial buildings that,
But it's just funny. Like
Jesse says 30 years, and Jeremiah's like, nah, 25.
I thought that too. I was like, we're nitpicking here. I'm one of those people that was like 20 years ago. That's the 80s.
What's new to you? The Flying J down in Spiceland, because it's been there Dakota's entire life.
Mr. Fuel.
Mr. Fuel, is that brand new?
It's newer.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
have
pretty
anything
new.
that's new.
That Casey's General Store is new.
I'll say the Casey's is
That is
relatively
pretty
new. Which one? The Spiceland one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like 2 years old.
Zach's pretty old because he was talking about the Red Barn that used to sit.
I was thinking about it, dude. I remember Red Barn.
So it's funny. There was a YouTube video that came up this week that was talking about Red Barn. I'm like, I think we had one of those here when I was growing up. It was next to the
I
tire
wonder where
barn.
the Walgreens is.
And I was like, it was because there was apparently they used to have salad bars and all kinds of stuff at Red
You
Barn.
go in there and get you get.
And it was called Barney's Grill, but I don't think ours was. I think that they were big in like the 70s and 80s, and I think that the one that we had was kind of a hanger-oner that did whatever the hell they wanted to do. By the time you and I were old,
I think it hung on because of Broad Street. Like quite literally, we had cruising. For people not familiar with Newcastle, Broad Street's our main kind of old drag goes through downtown, and up until I was in like high school, we had a mayor that finally turned on it. People would show up from all over the state and cruise Broad, and then when you needed something to eat, you went down to the Red Barn. Got gas, filled up your tank, got some food, and went cruising again. So I bet they killed on a Friday and a Saturday night. Yeah, but it finally went away now. It's a drugstore.
I think cruising died when gas went to $4. That's
No, because I'll tell you what, no.
Thanks, Obama.
We had a mayor. We had a mayor that took it made every intersection no left-hand turns.
Yep.
So you couldn't turn around, and he would have all the businesses that you could turn on their parking lots, rope off their parking lots. And they would just have...
It was impossible.
They would just send a fire truck down the middle of the street, and there was nowhere to go except on the curb to get out of the way. And so all these lowriders would hit the curb. He snuffed it out. Because the best thing about cruising Broad Street was you could go down there for 2 hours, and you would drive 3 miles. Because you were just driving the same half-mile stretch of road at 0.1 mile an hour over and over again. So you didn't burn a lot of gas doing it. He killed it before gas got expensive.
Just idling.
Just idling.
It was probably 2002, 2003, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Just after my high school.
It was like gas was still over. People are like, oh my gosh, it's $1.50 a gallon.
All right. The last story that I had programmed that Dakota doesn't want to talk about at all. So we'll do it very briefly. Apparently Muncie, we like to make fun of Muncie on the show now. It's become a theme lately. Muncie took their old jail, and I don't know what Henry County is going to do with its old jail.
They can't do this with it.
But Muncie had a downtown, 3-story building that's like this behemoth, and they're turning it into condos. So the city gave it to some developer for $100. I don't remember that happening at all, but it did.
$100?
Yeah, I think they sold it for $100.
What a heck of a deal.
It's got $3 million worth of renovations going into it.
Give them $200
because their downtown almost is circled around this building.
Yeah,
it's not quite the focal point. Shift a little bit, but it's got nice downtown structures, all nice businesses all around it. It's ugly, but
not for long.
So, yeah, they're going to be between 1,500 and 4,000 square foot luxury apartments. There's going to be 15 of them downtown Muncie. The mayor says that somewhere around $225,000 is supposed to be able to get you in the door.
Yeah.
So, I'm guessing that won't buy you the 4,000 square foot apartment.
How long until we see Zach Baggins
condo
with Ghost Adventures?
I was going to say, I think you said haunted.
It's got to be haunted.
Why? Are you a ghost believer?
Buggery.
No, but I like the
I don't think
stuff
you're a
that
ghost believer.
Draft Dodgers.
I like
it's a bunch of draft Dodgers in there, Jesse.
I like watching the
Might
shows
be.
like that because I think they're silly and fun.
Well, he's ridiculous because he's roided up on whatever the natural things that you're trying to sling on us.
He's weird.
And he's just always yelling at the ghost. He's like, if you're fucking in here, come on out. You're like, dude, that's not how you attract ghosts, I'm pretty sure. That's how you get a
He
fight
knows
in
what
a
he's
bar.
doing, bro. He knows.
Yeah. If you went to haunted bars, maybe.
He knows what he's into. Like he's experienced.
I know.
He's come a lot. He's come across a lot. Now he's got a museum.
You're very
in
young,
Las Vegas.
so you're very young. Do you remember when this show first came out? He looked like he was like a rail.
dork.
He was like really small, and now he's literally like veins are popping from his neck, and he's like jacked. You're like, dude, what in the world happened to you?
Yeah,
he's got ghosts in him. You know, like something's going on with him.
that could be.
It's
We don't
pretty
know.
Weird.
He
You know
could
what we're
have,
talking about?
I have literally no idea.
It was the same guy. I think that wasn't he the one that came to
Zach
Spiceland?
Baggins, and these are my ghost adventures. That
This
guy?
is but is he the one that came to Spiceland?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I would have no clue. Whatever. I never watched any of this.
not Spiceland. Is Newcastle, but it's on Spiceland Pike.
Correct.
Oh my God, we are in the weeds now.
And that was a house that nobody had heard.
Nobody knew anything about it. At all.
My mom's like, I played at that house when I was a kid. Never heard a thing about it.
The best when they're like, they would like go, it's in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, you drive by, like,
It's a subdivision, bro. Like, what is it?
It's on the way to the dump.
yeah.
My trash goes by it every
But
Wednesday.
if you look off the porch across the field, it looks like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Not
if
Zach's,
you pan
though.
left or pan right,
That's where the Casey's gas station is, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
Zach's trash goes to Muncie.
Is my puppy chow haunted?
premium. We have a premium dump.
There's less bumps on the way to Muncie. That's the story.
What is that place called? Thornhaven Manor?
Yeah. Yep. I believe that is the case. All right. So real quick poll question as we wrap this segment up and we work our way into final thoughts. Jesse, would you live in a former jail as your home, your residence, your primary residence? You get a good
not
deal.
for $225,000.
You got a reasonable deal on it. Would you care that it was a former jail?
$100.
Well, yeah, for the building.
No, I don't care. It's a jail. Why would you care? It's a jail.
I don't know. Maybe you got bad memories. Maybe you don't want to live in.
I mean, they're going to gut it. They're going to tear down, keep whatever.
So you don't care. It doesn't bother you. Fine, well, sure, whatever.
It's just a show. They're going to tear it down and make it like they're going to have to, right? Like, there's no way to not do it. It's not like you're going to live in like C Block and be like, yo, I'm over in C Block, bro. What's up?
You get this many rooms.
Yeah.
You just have to keep walking out to different.
It's time for yard time.
Yeah, I'd be like, I slept in cell B last night. I'm going to C tomorrow.
Just leave a toilet in every one of them.
Hey man, the roof,
Walk car.
the gym on the roof is great. You can't fall off because there's wire
There's
up
a wire
everywhere.
everywhere.
Dakota, would you do it? Would you live there?
It's haunted.
Hell to the no. No, I wouldn't live there. And here's why.
Because you have a
Because
house like myself.
it's a really old place. And I know that there's going to be maintenance problems out the wazoo for like the first 2 years. It's an old
You're a Mr.
brick
Fix-It
building.
guy.
Yeah, but if I'm living in an apartment that costs
Condo.
$225,000 for 1,500 square feet.
He says that like it's a lot of money.
I am not going to.
For
For
a
1,500
residence.
square feet in Muncie?
I know. But do they have, so what's crazy is the rent they are asking for in Muncie is insane. And they are getting it. Like I've seen an apartment sell for like almost $2,000 a month.
Zach and I have had this conversation as a sidebar for months. In our mind, we what we think things should cost because of the economy we've grown up with for the last 10 years.
Well, I'm still
nothing makes sense.
In my defense, though, I'm not stuck in like 1998 prices. I'm stuck in 2018 prices, but the prices have gone so insane. Like I see house prices in Newcastle
for $300,000, and you go,
and
drunks.
Yeah.
You're crazy. Like, and then it sells, and you go, damn.
Pablo Escobar's house in town sold for $300,000 the first time. And then the next time it sold was less than 2 years later, and it sold for $500,000.
Oh, yeah, they did the massive
in like
flip on
16
that.
months.
They didn't touch it.
They didn't do much. I don't think he did much of anything.
The guy just bought it and was like, you know what? I've changed my mind.
The pictures
and he made
still had dust on the floor. Like they didn't even dust.
He tried to because he was at the time was trying to buy the castle, and he didn't pull off that, and so he's like, okay, I'm out. And yeah, he sold that house for like I think he made like $185,000 on the house in less than 2 years.
So Zach, would you live in a former jail?
Yeah, I want to see what they do with it. I don't want it to look like a jail. But yeah,
that's my problem is that I don't.
I just thought to
the
myself,
windows have got to be shitty, right?
You know, they're gonna
have to
redo
stuff.
it.
I don't know.
There are no windows in jails, bro.
That building had windows that were like 8 inches wide and like 4 feet tall.
I was gonna say it can't have prison windows. Like they're gonna have to do a pretty decent remodel. But you know what? I bet it's solid because it's concrete.
Yeah, it's going to be
the whole building's.
But everything is encased in the concrete. That's the problem. So you got something go wrong. Your toilet
I bet there's
probably going to be very
why they don't just tear it down and build a new one. Like that's for $100. I'm like, that's why they gave you $100 so that you pay the demolition costs.
I bet the demo it would be.
It'd be terrible.
A nightmare.
It'd be absolutely
because it also
disastrous.
is in the middle of town.
It's got a It's got a parking garage
I was gonna
built
say there's a
into
parking
it.
garage.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, the location is killer because like I said, it's kind of the center of downtown. So you're within walking distance of about everything. You're pretty close to the river. Police,
You say it's killer, but there's not a lot right now in downtown Muncie.
Elm Street, the Mid Station. There's Dakota nearly just lost his cup. It was
I know, but we
perilously
can't.
close.
Like the one stuff that was cool closed.
The Ivy Tech is down there. It's all right.
Savages or
Savages. It's literally right next door to Savages.
No, I know. I was talking about the.
You're talking about the Hurrah. That's gone for now.
Is it still gone?
Check a local listings.
I was
I
gonna say,
think
they
they're
were
very
doing
close.
stuff in Valhalla, but I didn't know if they've closed.
Valhalla's open. I don't know about the Hurrah.
The Hurrah is
Hurrah.
coming back.
I was saying like no. I
The
was
tap
saying,
house on the south end
I
in
guess
the
there are
Marriott
things
is
there
closed at
still.
the moment. There's like 4 or 5 good
But I was
bars.
thinking, what was it that closed? The pizza place.
Yeah,
Three Wise Men.
Three Wise Men, or the whatever the address is, Grill. I think it was the name of it at the end. Zach and I met down there a time or two for
I built
food,
that
and we had
place,
we had a salad for like $6. I'm
by
like, there's no
myself.
way they can sustain this. And then they closed like 2 months later. They were hanging on by a thread.
being a Roots. They need Scotty to come in there and put something.
Well, so Scotty did just launch the other thing in Muncie, but it's not. It's on campus.
It's in
not
his
there.
old original
Roots,
Scotty's
yeah.
location.
Yeah, what
His
is it
dad owns a
called?
building, Roots.
Root, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're expanding. I think he's getting a couple.
There's 2 more in Indianapolis coming. It's just respawning itself. It's the same exact story.
Have you been to it?
I've been to Roots many times. Yeah.
Is
They
it
have-
literally just Scotty's Brew House?
It's burgers. It's smash burgers
That's
is
what-
the concept.
So that's what Scotty's Brew House was, burgers. But
Well,
they
had
were
the-
they were like big.
yeah, they
Monster
were big
Burgers.
monster.
It
burgers,
is
yeah.
a distinctly different theme, like thought
But-
process than Scotty's.
I think that's the thing is Roots is like going back to your roots and like redoing it.
Roots has a much more pared down menu.
Right.
They don't have
This massive menu.
nearly as much of the stuff. They don't have the Schumann burger. If they brought back the Schumann burger, I would be thrilled. Which is the peanut butter jalapeno burger that was
I can talk,
legendary.
I can talk to the namesake of the Schumann and say, hey, why don't you get on him? I know the person that was named after who created that.
Who's the stadium's named after?
No, it's not named after the stadium.
It's not the same person.
spelled differently.
No
SHE.
shit.
Yeah.
I had literally no
there was
idea.
like back on the Skies menu. My brother was a manager of Skies. I went there like every Wednesday for like 5 years. I knew everybody that all the food was named after. And like when I went in with you, did I bump into the manager?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I know the person that created that sandwich, and it was named after.
I've never looked at the spelling of it. I always thought it was named after
It's
the Ball State football
EW,
student.
and I think that the stadium is UE or UM. Different person.
You are the only person. You and Scott Wise are the only people on earth that know that.
Well, the guy I talked to in there would have known that because he worked with her too. She was a bartender.
All right. Let's move into final thoughts. You got anything for me, Zachary?
No, not really. I mean, for the people that are local, it was a crazy big thing. Good job to the Chamber of Commerce for the big thing that they threw down here. And otherwise,
they did very well.
I'm enjoying the warmer weather. And I finally put my camper in storage last weekend. That was bittersweet.
You ready to bust it back out yet?
No, because my batteries weigh 120 pounds and I can't get them out of the box. And I'm like, don't want to mess with them right now. But no,
If you miss your camper, you can come by and wash mine. It looks a lot like yours.
no, mine's clean.
Damn it.
Although
Mine needs a good scrubbing.
mine started to sleep when I was trying to dry it out to put it away. And it was like started to sleep. I was like, But I drug it away and I put it in its winter home.
We camped the very last weekend you could comfortably camp this year. We got every bit of love out of it we could.
Yeah, it snowed the next weekend.
It's just a matter of if we can get some winter camping in. As the pennant says across the way, winter is coming. Jesse Riddle, you got anything for me? Any final thoughts? Anything to promote?
Nothing to promote. I did. I thought of something earlier, but I don't have it now, so forget it.
You tried.
I was going to give a shout out to Mr. Andrew Bowman,
Okay.
our listener. The sweatshirt that I'm wearing
It says fast.
says fast.
And then from here it says fat, but
Can you see it better now?
I can now. But from where it was, it said
It's available in 2 sizes, fast and fat.
Yeah, when you're bent a certain
Depending upon
way,
where you are in
it
your
just
diet
says fat.
cycle.
Anyway, Andrew shared a link to this. It was on the Dale Jr. download, I think he said, or something like that. Some racing podcast.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was Peter or Tia. Who knows? But anyway, Andrew sent this link and he was like, you can pay $1 and get a free sweatshirt. Free, but you pay $1, whatever. It's some promotion thing. And I did it and I was like kind of not expecting to get a sweatshirt. like it to be a scam because the website was very plain.
Very questionable.
Yeah. It was like you click on it and it was like, where's your credit card?
Did you use a burner card?
Yeah, I used the card that we use to go out to eat with. So it has like no money on it usually. And it's like, it's a weird system. Anyway.
And he says, I do my money weird.
I never say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Zach does.
Anyway.
Complicated.
So I did it. And then like, I don't know, 2 months later, I get a thing like a FedEx alert.
2 months later.
Yeah, it was a long time.
I'm going to tell you something now. That was my childhood with everything that you ordered was 4 to 6 weeks.
Send it away. You pay shipping and handling.
It was that way when I was younger. Like I mean, whenever I was a kid, I was still ordering out of catalogs, bro.
Yeah, when you'd order something, you'd forget you ordered it, and all of a sudden it would just show up at your door, and you're like, "What's this?" It was like finding a 20 in your coat pocket.
I used to order stuff out of the Bud K catalog. You guys ever get those?
I remember Bud K. Bud K was pretty dope.
Yeah, right. They sold gas station knives and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I have no idea.
You used to have to schedule, like, you're like, I think I'll be like a size 8 in like 6 weeks. So you're trying to like time it to when your shoes come.
Do you ever I'm the only one at the table that's ever done this. You ever mail order chickens?
No.
I did that. We ordered chickens.
You still can do that.
Yeah. We ordered chickens at the beginning of one year, and then they all got killed. They got murdered. So we had to reorder them. And it was like 3 months later.
They got killed in shipping?
I believe dogs, foxes, squirrels. I don't know.
While they're being raised to be shipped?
No, at home.
Oh.
They got murdered. They got muck ducked at home. Maybe it was skunks. I don't remember something
Is that
destroyed
what
them all.
muck duck means?
Yeah, muck duck that's an office reference. They got muck ducked, murdered.
Oh, because there's a mucky duck in Greenswood that I was like, I never knew what it meant. Continue.
Yes, that's a Dwight Schruteism.
Muck ducked.
Muck ducked. You get there. What? I don't know why they call it muck duck. That's much more menacing than murder. Anyway, yeah, mail ordered chickens.
But anyway, Andrew sent this link, and I love this sweatshirt, dude. It's super soft and comfortable. So I was like, I need to like order a couple more. Have backup?
How many times have you washed it?
Quite a few times.
Because sometimes a hoodie starts out really comfortable, and then you wash it twice.
A lot. Like I wear it a lot. I wear it every chance I get.
And what's it mean? Fast.
It's some
Dale Earnhardt.
No, it's some checkout company. Like they're an e-commerce company, and they're trying to become like a PayPal or something.
Good luck.
Well, I would say it's a really, really bad name to put on a shirt for something that took that long to
2
get.
2 months, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of ironic, actually.
Anyway, I mean, look at how stained blue these drawstrings
Is that
are.
blue?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, they're pretty blue. Like
From the black fading.
You know why marsupials scare me?
Being washed with pants and stuff. But anyway,
That's a great bit.
but they're $30 now.
He whispered it, so I don't think the audience heard it, but I heard it.
Oh,
hey,
man.
Zach, why do marsupials scare me?
Because they're fast.
There he goes. All right.
The great Kevin Pollak bit.
That's
Kevin
all
Pollak
I got.
and Bob and Tom.
I just wanted to say thank you to Andrew Bowman. Also, this is a dry week. We're not drinking alcohol, me and Andrew and Del Melchin. So I hope that those two guys are sticking with it because I've been drinking decaf coffee on a podcast tonight.
You're broken. You're a broken man. I can see it.
I'm glad that Andrew's bringing some positivity because he is the menace of Facebook.
So
I've met him before. He's the nicest guy in person. And on Facebook, he's an absolute troll. It's hilarious, but
All right. My last final thought here. Very, very final, whatever. I borrowed myself a Disney Plus login. I got caught by the Apple promotion or the Disney Plus promotion for the Beatles in this big documentary. They took some stuff from the 60s, right around the time of the draft, 1969. They had like 60 hours of video footage and 120 hours of audio footage, and they put it together and they threw it on the Apple whatever. And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting, but I don't have Apple or Disney Plus, whatever the hell it is. I don't have it. It's not going to happen. And then I got caught by a TikTok video, 3-minute TikTok video. And it is apparently all of the Beatles had like a week and a half. They were going to write an entire album. They had the camera crews running and they were writing like 14 songs. They were going to write the album, perform it live, and it was going to go out and they had like 2 weeks to do it. And they literally, it was Paul McCartney just strumming along and you could hear him kind of figuring it out as it went. And 2 minutes later, he wrote Get Back. Like it was just literally in the TikTok video. It was Paul like sciencing out, figuring it out from nothing to he wrote Get Back.
I don't even know what Get Back is.
It's one of their number one songs.
One of the songs he wrote in his sleep.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
It was
I'm not a Beatles
insanity. Just the process, even if you're not a Beatles fan. So I didn't subscribe. I got access to a username and password.
Well, I already own it, so
yeah.
but I used it for Mandalorian. So you should watch The Mandalorian.
Well, if I can talk Sarah into it.
Disney Plus is like one of my go-to streaming apps.
So I'm like, here's my problem, and this is a personal problem, but Sarah hates the Beatles like with a passion.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Completely hates them.
So
as much as you used to hate Seinfeld 5 years ago, she's like, hell no. Nope, not doing it. So I have to find time to watch it when she's not in the room. I tried to put it on last night. She's like, no. As we're going to bed, she's like, nope. She threw up her hands. Total hard stop. So I'm like, I think it's like
She's
the
a
first
country
episode.
person, though, isn't she?
The first episode was like an hour and a half. So I'm guessing it's like
too much Beatles.
3.5 hours. I'm
A
like
lot
halfway
of
through the
Beatles.
I
first.
think I heard it was like it's Peter Jackson. So
Yeah, Peter Jackson.
nothing Peter Jackson does is short.
And I don't know if all
He's
of the
a
episodes are
long-winded
out.
individual.
There's three episodes out so far. It's going to take me a while,
But that's the kind of thing.
but it's fascinating.
I mean, there's certain things that he's great for. If you have the availability of resources to do a deep dive, Peter Jackson's your guy to go through all that stuff because he's not going to cut out stuff unless he really feels that he's be cut out. But I think somebody said it was, but they might have been over exaggerating. But they said it was like 9 hours. I could see it being 4 to 6.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so far it starts out slow, but I think from the 2-minute clip that somebody edited out and stuck on TikTok illegally that's probably been deleted already, it hooked me. It got me to where I'm going to watch it. So with that, we thank you guys very much for supporting the show, joining us. We will be be back next Thursday, and we're going to talk. We're going to spend a little time talking about some small businesses and the struggles they have and how you can support small businesses going into Christmas. We'll see you Thursday.